checking to see that you're doing what you need to be doing. And the second thing is the things that you are doing, just checking in to see how you're going with them. So if you've got any issues, if you want to bounce, for example, today with your mission and vision statements, bounce those off us. If you had a time to play around with those, if you had questions around some of the financial forecasts that we did. So it's really a process for just keeping you accountable, and it gives you another touch point with us to make sure that we can support you in the best way possible. And as we progress through the modules, there's an opportunity just to ask general open questions. There might be things that pop up for you, and we can bounce those around as well. So, all right, quickly in the agenda for today. So we're going to compare and contrast mission and vision statements. We're going to have open questions and discussions. We're going to do chunking up and chunking down. How are you going with that? Have you noticed yourself doing it? Any questions you had on it? And then that's it. We'll finish up. So just a reminder from the video, we want you to understand the chunking up and chunking down, right? So what chunking up and chunking down is, it enables you to understand the content and the context of your business. And when you've got that, it enables you to where are you going? This is going on its own. It enables you to have some bumper lanes for your decision making. So when you're making decisions in an operational perspective and a day-to-day perspective, you're able to align those decisions with the strategy that you're implementing and the vision of where you're going, and helps you make sense of those decisions, right? When we've got clarity at the top of that tree, sorry, this is annoying me. I don't know why this is doing that. When you've got clarity at the top of that tree from a contextual perspective, it helps you make sense of the decisions at a lower level. Okay, and so you will naturally do this often when you're dealing with potential clients. I'll give you the symptoms of what's going on. Sorry, I don't know why this is doing that. I'm going to stop this quickly, and I'm going to just fix this because it's annoying me. Right. Hopefully that works. Once we've got context, as I said, it makes decisions. And so you need, by understanding your purpose and your vision, where you're going and why this is important, it'll help you make decisions at a lower level. You'll be able to align those decisions. You'll have something that anchors you into the future, so that you know where you're going and how what you're doing today and those decisions you're making today are able to get you to where you want to go. Without it, you end up seeing this real wishy-washy trail all over the place. It's like wandering aimlessly in the desert. It's hard to make sense of anything, and often we make decisions around certain parts of the business that seem like a good idea, and then as we progress on, we realize that we don't. And so by having these bumper lanes, having the context, it reduces how far we deviate off our course. So your mission or purpose is really, it describes why a business does what it does, who it serves, and how it does it. And it's focused about now. It's focused about being in the present. Why am I doing what I'm doing today? And how does it, as a private business owner, how does it connect back to my personal intent? And that's really about, how does being in the business I'm in help me live in this aspect of my life a fulfilling life? And so when we align the mission of our business, why it exists, with our own personal intent or meaning, what gives life meaning and purpose, becomes a really powerful force in terms of motivation and passion. And when we're passionate about what we do, it often resonates with the people that we're working with, team members and clients. So it comes across, Glenn, I think everyone at BNI would say when you give your 60 seconds, it's quite obvious how passionate and how interested you are in pest control, and that's because it connects at some way with you on a personal level of helping people and helping families, and
yes.
Why you do what you do. So it's a really powerful force. And the purpose of having a mission is to guide your day-to-day operations and decisions and keep them aligned. We bring people along for the journey that have a similar alignment to us. It helps build harmony, and it helps build cohesion, and helps getting people row the boat in the same direction. And an example is to help small businesses succeed and thrive through practical coaching and support. So what it does is to help, who it serves is small business, and how it does it is to help them succeed and thrive through practical coaching and support. So we're bringing that together into a nice practical statement.
When Oscar talks about intent, if you have a look at that example at the bottom, guys, to help small businesses succeed and thrive, you could put a full stop there, and that's all about what we're motivated by. That's the bit that gets us going, gets us up in the morning. We love helping small businesses succeed and thrive. We've added the through practical coaching and support because that sort of spells it out a bit. That first bit's got to resonate with what you're on about personally, and that's what Oscar's referring to when he says intent.
Yep. Yeah. You'll see some, as Steve mentioned, you'll see some mission statements have through practical coaching and support, and some won't. From our perspective, if you want to have an explanation of what it is that your business does in there, then that's great. It doesn't detract from it. The powerful bit, as Steve mentioned, was to help small businesses succeed and thrive. That's the bit that really drives the motivation in a business context, and in this business, it's through practical coaching and support. You may do that in other ways in a different business model, in a different profession or industry. Contrast that to your vision. Your vision outlines the long-term aspiration or ideal future business aims to achieve. That's future state. What does this thing look like when we look forward 3, 5, 10 years? What can I envisage this looking like? And we like it to be a broad statement rather than getting into the micro, because it has to capture lots of things that may change over the journey. And it's an aspirational thing that inspires and motivates not just you or me as the business owner, but those that are joining you as part of the team. It's something that excites them. And when you look at businesses that have and are driving towards a big lofty goal in particular, not to say that you need to have a massive goal, but having a big one, you attract a certain type of person, and that creates a certain energy and feeling in the business. There's typically high energy, a lot of driven people pushing for that big goal, as opposed to someone who's happy just to produce something that's quite local and plod along and live a contented life in a small pool. The energy in that business would be quite different. Wouldn't be that it wouldn't be a nice place to work, but it would attract a different sort of person. Someone that's got high aspirations for their career is going to want to work at a place that's got big aspirations and can accommodate the big personal aspirations that person's got. And
the trick there, I think, isn't it, Oscar, that when you're hiring staff or bringing them in, you want them to engage with your vision for their reasons.
Yes.
And that's the trick. And so if the vision itself is something they don't want to engage with for whatever reason is motivating them, then you may as well find that out when you hire them.
Yep.
And that's the purpose of this, or one of the purposes of this, because you're saying this is what we're on about, and we're driving this idea forward in the business, and is this something you want to be part of? And why would you want to be part of that? These are the sorts of questions that you would be asking.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the work that we're doing in the business, Steve touches on a really valuable point. They're about how you grow your business and what drives and motivates you and causes you to take action. And these are the specific activities we need to go and do to push the business forward. But as you grow your business, you'll likely add people to your team. You may not. It may be one, it may be 5, 10, 15, 20, depending on how big you want to get. All the things that we're doing here are creating the essence of who and what your business is and what you're wanting it to become. And so sharing that with your team, whether it's your mission, whether it's your vision, maybe not your financial goals. Some businesses will happily share those. Others will say, I want to keep that quiet. We're going to do some work around values and positioning and, client relationship management. All of those things become the manifesto around how the business operates. And contextually, it's really important to share that with your people as they come on at the start. Ideally, some of these things you can share in the interview process when you get down to your one or two that you're looking to hire. There's no point hiring someone that doesn't fit. You find out afterwards, right? But part of the induction, these things all become part of the induction, and they're a core part of you leading your team effectively and becoming a high-performing team and building a team that helps you drive the business to where you want it to go. So if that's what you're doing, it's helpful for them to understand where you are going and sharing those things with them. Don't you reckon, Steve?
Absolutely. And you keep talking about it.
Yep.
Don't forget, it's all about being the best in WA. It's all about being, and you just keep driving that idea through internally.
Yep. So the example on the screen is to be the leading provider of small business coaching in Australia by 2029. So we wrapped a little time frame around it, but it's an aspirational. We want to be the leading provider, right, for small business coaching in Australia. So we've taken a position that we want to go national, right? So people then understand that. And along the journey, we're doing these things. This is the next phase. This is why we're doing this, because it's about taking us to that end game, right? And if you achieve it, if we were to achieve to be the leading provider of small business coaching in Australia by 2029, well, then the question for Steve and I is, well, what next? Because we've achieved it, that inspirational aspect, that aspiration is no longer aspirational, it's been achieved. So what does the next phase of the business look like? We need to reset that vision and go again. Because if you don't, and I've seen it all too often, if you don't reset that vision, if you do achieve it, what happens is the business owners lose focus, they lose direction, and they lose motivation. You literally see their decision-making and energy drop away. And it's not until that you get them to think, okay, well, what's next? What does the next 5 years look like? 3 years, 10 years, whatever it is, whatever time frame they're wanting to look at, what does that look like? How do we reset that so that you connect with it and are driven and inspired and motivated to take action to drive towards being that?
Yeah, one other point on that one. You're resetting, of course, and prior to reaching the first vision that you have for yourself, you use that as a tool. And when we get on to chunk up, chunk down, I'll talk about it a bit. You use that as a tool to do a reality check on how you're behaving now. So if what we're doing now is not consistent with being the leading provider by 2029, we would ask ourselves, is our vision right? Or conversely, do our behaviours need modifying?
Yep. Beautiful.
Okie doke.
So just to contrast a mission and vision statement, The focus for a mission statement is the present. It's about how is what we're doing now helping us be and live and create fulfillment from a business perspective and align with how we want to live a fulfilling life. A vision statement is about a state for the business, an aspirational state for the business in the future. Purpose of a mission statement is it describes what actions we undertake that create fulfillment and why. Why is it that that makes us fulfilled? Whereas a vision statement is about an end game. It's about an aspiration and a future goal. I've heard some people talk about it as a big, hairy, audacious goal. We wrap the financial goals around it because they create key performance indicators for us to monitor our progress towards achieving that vision. Without those key performance indicators, it becomes hard to know, are we making progress towards our vision? The time frame, a mission statement really is long term. It's something that once you nail it, it typically doesn't change. It's an ongoing thing. It describes why. The why we do it generally doesn't change. Even if we reset our vision, the why is still the same. Whereas a vision statement is typically medium to long term. Steve and I have had a couple of conversations around this. I'd always taken a much longer term view. Steve rightfully pointed out that sometimes if you go 10 years or longer, it can be a big step for people to connect with that vision. So Steve likes to break it down into a 3 or 5 year vision. And I think where all of you are in your business, such early stage, it's actually useful to go, let's set something that isn't such a big jump to be able to conceivably achieve. If we make it too long term, it might serve the opposite purpose of demotivating us, because it's like, geez, that's just too far away for me to grasp. So there's no right or wrong answer, and there's no right or wrong answer on putting a date on it. Some people like to just say, well, that's what it is. Others, as Steve's pointed out, let's pick a date and pick a finite time and let's set and go again.
Precisely. The unless you're the Chinese, which and you know, who will have as a nation will have a generational vision.
Yeah,
and they're very good at it, whereas Americans don't. I remember when they booked some peace talks for the Vietnam War in Paris, and the North Vietnamese booked their accommodation and everything for 10 years, or 5 years, I think it was, and the Americans for 4 weeks. 5 weeks. They think they could get it done. The North Vietnamese were in no rush. As it turned out, it took not as long as everyone thought, but there you go. It's just a matter of a mindset. So,
and that's because it's a longer term. The vision statement in particular is a much longer term aspiration. It needs to be a much broader statement, because in 3 or 5 years, that's as Steve said, it's quite short from an Asian way of thinking. But in the Western world, 3 years, a lot can happen in 3 years. I mean, you look at 3 years ago, and I don't think anyone that I know even knew what ChatGPT was. In fact, I think ChatGPT was not the end of last year, but the end of the year before that it launched publicly. I think it was 2020, November 23, and it just blew people away what this thing could do. So, 5 years ago we're in the midst of COVID. I don't think anyone would have even turned their head to AI. So we need our vision to be broad enough to withstand the micro changes that happen on a day-to-day, year-to-year basis. Once we get there, then we can reset it. But we don't. If we're having to reset our vision statement all the time, then we start to lose that focus and anchor point for our decisions in terms of where we want to get. So we want it to be robust enough and as such broad enough to be able to handle those the minutiae of the changes that happen within a marketplace in the shorter term.
Yep.
All right, over to you.
Yes.
So just before we do that, the last bit
Yep.
was the audience for a mission statement is typically internal, right? And to some extent, some businesses like to share what their mission is and why they exist. And Simon Sinek talked a little bit about, people buy your why. And there was a lot of good that he spoke about in that YouTube video. I don't know if you've seen it. But he also simplifies that model a little bit too much. And I think at times people confuse the why with philanthropy. And so you need to be a little bit careful about that. But some people like to share that. You shared it, Glenn, at BNI. I like to share it in BNI as well. We're passionate about helping business owners achieve their potential. It helps people understand at a personal level what drives you and what you're passionate about, rather than just say I'm going through the motion. So whether you want to share that or not, it's up to you. Vision statement is often your team and your leadership. It's an internal motivating goal. It's not necessarily something that you put out there. I've seen people do it. If you do put it out there for the public and put it on your website, it's not the end of the world. It's certainly not going to damage your business, but usually people keep it as an internal motivating factor that keeps the team and the leadership aligned and motivated. Yep. Over to you, Steve. Sorry about that one.
No, that's fine. So chunking up and down. So this is a communication tool, really. What we find in working with businesses is that it's important for us to be on the same page or the same level of conversation as everyone else. And it's also important for you to get to grips with what the real cause of issues are. And I'll talk about that in a second. So chunking up is the big picture, chunking down is the detail. And the example we use is the kid's birthday party. There's no point in working out the food or the drink unless you've worked out the date and what the theme is. In a business context, if you could quickly show slide 3, please, Oscar, again.
Slide 3, yep.
Yep.
You do. There we go.
Right, so there we go.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one. So chunking up is to the context that drives the business. So the context of what goes on is the important thing. So most problems you have are down there in the operations or the structure or somewhere like that. And so when you have difficulties, you're thinking about that. In order to understand what drives those difficulties or challenges or whatever, you've got to chunk up to actually, well, what's the big picture here? So if we've got a problem in the operations, is it a vision issue? Is it a strategy issue? Could it be that the team isn't really clear about our mission and that's what drives it? It may not just be a behavior, if that makes sense. So what we do when we go into a business is we listen to the story. I think that'd be right, wouldn't it, Oscar?
Yeah.
We listen to the story and everyone tells us what's going on, what's working well, what's not. We're all the time chunking it up. I wonder what's driving all of that. They're having a challenge. Is it to do with the fact that they're not clear on their strategy? Is it that really they're not clear where they're going? If you talk to senior business people, they'll always ask you, where are you going? Why do you exist? And that's what drives the whole show. And so that's really important to understand. Chunk up and chunk down. Now, we use the words chunk up, chunk down for simple reasons. Is it's fast, right? So that's just chunk up a bit, chunk down. So we teach our clients this very quickly so that when we're having a conversation with them, and you have the same thing with your staff when you have them, or even within yourself, hang on, chunk up. What's the big picture here? So if we go back to slide 8, thanks, Oscar. Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. Yep, that's the one. So there's the question, some of the questions you can ask. What's the big picture here? That's chunking up. What's this part of? What's the motivation? What's the driving idea? What's an example? Let's chunk up, find out what the big picture is. So that's very important. And then chunking down, it's getting down to the detail. So these are questions that you can use. So I was talking this morning to doing a little session on asking questions for a sales trainee in a painting organisation, and she's a very experienced professional tradesperson, and she's been taken out on sales calls, and she goes into the room, doesn't say much to the customer. This is just first early days, and she looks at the room and she sorts it all out. This is how it'll work. What I was trying to get to her is that to understand today is that that's just the thing you quote on. You get the business because of the way you've connected with the customer, which is, what are you wanting to achieve? What's the big picture for you? What will it look like when you're finished? So you're connecting with what the people are really wanting to do and what they have a feeling about. And then you line up your quote for the painting with that. And so the difference for you when the prices are close, you'll get the business because you connected with them at a more deeper level, because you seem to be, as we say, on the same page. Now, that's a skill you can acquire. And what we're saying to you is practice this all the time, chunking up what's going on, or when you need to, chunk down. So I think that's what I want to say. I think we've duplicated the next slide. So we can go straight through to questions. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, I'll just say doctors do it really well, right? And you will, I think you will naturally do this and not realize you're doing it when you're going to see a client. I always tell my clients, your clients have no idea what the real problem is. Your clients are often coming to you with a symptom that is the outward showing of an underlying problem. And so you're at the content level with them and you're diagnosing what really is going on. You know, when you go to the doctor and say, I've got this mole that keeps, you know, every time I scratch it, it bleeds. You know, just can you put a Band-Aid or put a stitch in there? Well, the doctor's going to take you through a whole series of questions. And what he's trying to work out is he's moving up a diagnosis scale to go, this is the symptom, but what's really going on? And he's working up to what's the causation of that contextually.
That's right.
Right? And you
politicians,
when you know you had the situation with the bees. Okay, well, do I just spray some bee killer in the bedroom? No, actually, there's the symptom is you got bees, but actually you've got a problem actually with the house because you've got a spot where the bees are able to get in and find a space that they want to be. If you fix that up, I've solved the problem for now, but fix that hole in the floating floor and you won't get bees in your house. They'll go and find somewhere else. Right? So the problem is, the symptom is I've got bees in my bedroom, but the problem is there's a warm space that they've got access to where they want to build a nest and swarm. So you're chunking up to this is the real problem away from the content. Michael, you might be working with the clients that you're working with and going, well, we want to do A, B, and C, but we can't get in. And you go, well, you know, I can't get your prepared meals in because they're frozen and people don't want frozen. So your actual problem is not that they don't want your product, it's how you're producing and delivering your product. And so we need to get you to buy a packaging system that is able to maintain freshness for 14 days, because they don't want, as soon as I say it's not frozen, they're up for it. If it's frozen, they go, oh, no, people don't really want frozen meals, right? So you're going, the problem isn't that you don't have a good product. The problem is how you're packaging. You're diagnosing, you're working up and down a ladder, a value ladder, a decision-making ladder to find out what's the essence of what I need to solve. And so that's the chunking up and down bit. You will do it naturally for your clients. It's taking that natural skill and applying it to other situations, because the danger is you get caught at the content, and no matter what you solve, whatever problem you think it is, you keep putting the wrong solution in place that it doesn't fix it. I mean, eventually you might get there, but by chunking up, you go, actually, if we sort this at this level, then it'll make sense of what we need to do at this level. Yep.
Correct. Politicians are really, really good at this. You will have seen them being interviewed. And the interviewer might be asking for some detail of the impact of, say, a new tax. And they press them for an answer. And the politician chunks up and says, look, we're all about outcomes, great outcomes for all Australians. And we're all about equity. Just think about it. Just chucked you up to the big, right? And the other thing you can do is chunk sideways. I think well, what about this new ship we're buying for the Navy? Well, actually, it would be really good if we thought about this in relationship to the new tanks or the aircraft we're buying. So chunk the argument the other way, and the person who's asking the question loses heart. So if you watch politicians, they're really good at it, staying general, if you like, rather than specific, because you get caught when you're in specific. Okie doke. I think that's enough on that.
Yeah. Don't avoid questions for your people, though. For politicians, it's a popularity contest. People do like, your people will like to understand why, right? This is why I'm asking you to do the things and the way I'm asking you to do it, because it helps us deliver our promise to our customers, which helps us achieve our vision. Once they understand why they're being asked, people often, without it, they can't make sense of, well, why do we do that? They'll get asked by someone, why do we do it that way? Why don't we do it this way? And we go, I don't know, right? Well, if they can say, well, it's because this is going to help us achieve this and get to here. Why can't we do it that way? Well, because this is what we sell to our customers, and so therefore we have to build our production and delivery system so that we can achieve that. People go, okay, now I get it. All right, now I'm not confused and annoyed. It makes sense. I'm happy to move forward. So how did you go with refining your vision and mission statements?
Yeah, good. I've even refined mine since last Thursday, Oscar. So
sweet. You want to share it?
Yes. Our mission is to help our clients create safe and clean spaces that they are proud of and feel comfortable in by inspecting and treating with passion, care, and attention to detail.
Great.
That's it. So I refined it actually when you started talking earlier on. It was because I do enjoy helping my clients, and I get a buzz out of meeting families. And I've got 3 kids now. My wife and I got 3 kids that are young adults. So now when I go and see people with really young ones, like 2, 3, 4, 5, it's great. It's almost like I'm going to see my grandkids when I don't even have any. And you see all these happy kids. I was just at one place this morning with 3 kids under about 6, and they were bouncing all over the place and having a great time. And it's just nice to be around that energy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's it. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, so I changed mine just a little bit. I said at Chili's, our aim is to connect to your brand service with domestic, national, and global supply chains. With a catchphrase, while you focus on what you do best, we do what we do best.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so really for that, because there's a lot of things I don't like doing. So I like to focus on what I really feel that I'm better at and passionate about. And also same for the suppliers, manufacturers. I feel that's where they can sometimes be overwhelmed with their product. They're good at what they do, but then taking it to market and doing the rest of it can sort of, add a bit of stress or whatever. So, they can do what I go and do what I do as best as possible,
Yep. One thing we'll say is that sort of tagline, that last little bit.
Yep.
Steve and I, we don't feel that's necessary in the mission itself. What that will come into is part of your positioning piece, right? Because you sort of used, it's a bit of a tagline. that will come in the positioning piece. That may be something you retain. It may be a little bit of a catchphrase that isn't even part of your positioning, but is part of the conversation that you have with your customers and those brands. And so we were looking at it yesterday, actually, when we were talking, and we'd sort of said, oh, look, the mission is to connect local brands with opportunities in domestic, national, and global supply chains in the retail and hospitality industries.
Yeah.
And that's just us. You can put a little bit more of your own personality into it. We were just looking at it and looking at what you'd done previously and gone, it feels like it's a bit more, you could really condense it down a little bit if you wanted to. But adding that other bit in, because what you're going to have is you want these statements to be top of line. If someone asks you, you go, bang, that's it. You could shorten yours as simply as possible, just as part of a conversation with a new person to, at Chili's, our mission is to connect local brands with opportunities in domestic, national, and global supply chains. Bang.
That's the point.
Right. The only other thing that we talked about, Oscar, you recall, was and we think it's part of what Michael's doing. In actual fact, for some people, he's going to manage that function in their business, right, for them. And so we felt there needed to be, perhaps we liked that shorter version, that version without the tagline, but the tagline we're wanting to ask you, is that there because there's an element of what you do that for some clients you will actually manage the whole function.
It's outsourced account management.
I guess that's the long term. That's what I've been sort of working on at the moment is how do I, rather than just represent the brand and just sell it to, showcase it to stores and promote it, how can I let that person just focus on what they do, and then we take care of logistics, bookkeeping, taking it to market, representation, everything like that. And that's one of the suppliers I work with at the moment is in that sort of space. So that's where that sort of came about.
We recall you saying that, and that's why we thought, well, we'll mention it, because it may be that even though you're not doing it now, it's part of what you're on about, in which case you may as well own it now.
I sort of, because I'm going through all that sort of stuff, even the chunking up, chunking down, and even my product range, I sort of thought, does it fit long term everywhere, or is it just, or are some of the products going to just be local, some national, and then some go global? It may not all be. So everything, which people I team up with for that reason as well. Be a bit more specific.
Well, it gives them almost your service offering can grow with their brand growth, right? It might start local, domestic, and then you've taken them national, or you go, well, we might skip national. Actually, the next, because of the nature of your product, I'm actually going to take you to China or take you into Southeast Asia, and that's the next logical step, because I'm hearing that they want what you've got. So but that's broad enough to go, I'm connect. So the question I think we had was, do you add the word manage? Our mission is to help local brands connect with opportunities and manage the relationships with domestic, national, and global supply chains in the retail and hospitality industry. It's just a bit of wordsmithing for you, but I think it's more than, you have more than just, hey, I've made the connection, see you later. You're often the account manager for them, and you're giving feedback from, the IGA to the owner to say, hey, this is what our clients are telling us, or, what else is new, or this is what's happened. These are the other brands that are coming into your space. You're giving them that market intelligence, and the big brands have their own reps, right? Coca-Cola rep drives around in a Coca-Cola car and fills up fridges and puts displays out. These small businesses can't afford someone, so that's you that manages that.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep. And Did you share with your vision statement and your mission statement? Did you share that with anyone outside of us? And did you get any feedback on it?
I'm speaking to a mate tomorrow, and a guy I work with as well. I've worked with him for a little while, so just going to speak to them about that. See if it's on point with what as they already know me and what I've been doing over the last few years. And I did speak to a mate and his wife who have worked with me previously as well. I've known my mate for about 20 years, and for him, I guess he was just sort of saying, he's seen me on this track now for quite some time. And regardless of results, I continue in some sort of way. So, he felt it sort of aligned with what I've always been going on with. And a bit more condensed, I guess, already. Rather than more most of the time,
Glenn?
I did the same. I shared initially with Anne, my wife, and then when I went out for dinner Sunday night, I shared both with my mate Andrew and ended up condensing the vision a bit. So the vision
what do you have for your vision?
It used to be, our vision is to be the first choice when people require pest control to keep their spaces safe and clean. And then I've condensed that to our vision is to be the first pest control business that people think of to keep their homes safe and clean.
Nice.
Which is about reach, which is good. And what was the impact of you sharing that? Did everyone go, yeah, we get that?
Yes. Yeah, Andrew was pretty fired up. He, always talked about money and business with him over the last 20 or 30 years. And now, he's been in business himself for quite a while. And I've only just started my journey, and he's really excited for me and happy for me, which is wonderful. So I go out for a steak with him every couple of months just to catch up and talk a bit of shit.
Okay, that's fantastic.
It is interesting when you share that with people that are closer to you, because often what you get is when you set that goal, they often then say, how can I help, right? When they know what you're wanting, even though they're not in your business, they're all when they know that it's something that you're passionate about and you're driven, most your good friends and the people that that you should be valuing and that most people that you value are often going to step out and go, well, how can I help? Right? Let me know if there's anything I can do. I'm excited for you. If you've got people poo-pooing your idea, then get rid of them out of your life. Right? And just remember, that's not about you. That's usually about them. Right? That's their
right.
own...
That's right. And what they do is they try and limit your vision because of their own inadequate view of the future. And so be on the lookout for that. They don't want you to get too big for your boots. Whereas in actual fact, for you, that's exactly what you're trying to achieve. So just be a watch out for that, where people say, "Oh, that's pretty bloody big. I don't think you can do that." No. And then the reason why we wanted you to check it was to make sure that the people who know you and respect you and know what you're on about don't go, really? So if they're going, yeah, I get it. That's cool. That's what you're doing. Yep, that's what I understand. Then you pretty much nailed you and it together.
Yes. What did you have for yours, Michael?
My vision statement is our vision is to create a trusted food and beverage sales channel to showcase local brands to the domestic, national, and global supply chain, incorporating I went a bit more on this now. Incorporating personal and corporate travel between WA and China, seeing and tasting the way through our great state of WA. That's long term, So. And with that one there, same people I will share tomorrow. I guess the people I shared with have already sort of been on my journey anyway, because my mate's his wife has helped me out quite a bit. She's Chinese, from China. And she's ready to jump on a plane to Canton in a few weeks to come and help us out over there. And the people I'm speaking to tomorrow as well, helped me already quite a bit in what I've done in the Chinese side of space, and currently introducing me to some more clients over there as we speak. So Yeah, it's good to. I mean, they've always known what I'm doing because I'm talking about it to them in a conversation and going about it. But it was good to actually put it down and say this is what I'm actually trying to do.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and they knew that anyway because I've been talking about it so much. And I've got a lot of other portfolio where I've put all this down before, but it's all over the place. So it's been good to just sort of jump on it as much as I can. Yeah.
Well, you start to see how they cascade down. You're hearing similar language. One's about why you do it. The other one is I do this for local brands, and we talked about that over coffee at Island Market, Michael. It was that, there's so many good local brands here that can't get their work, their produce or their product out into the market. They don't know what to do. They're great at their product, but getting it out is really difficult. And there was a real connection with you around that's why you love doing it, to make those connections. But I want to be the trusted I'm going to entrust my product and my baby to you is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yep. The spreadsheet that we got you to do, we had some questions around that. Did that make sense, the financial goal setting?
Not that it didn't make sense. I'm just trying to work out. I feel that with my, I'm still trying to work out because I just do it on the commission side of it. I feel that's not going to work. I feel for me to get the best out of for the business as well, and even for my clients, is obviously time. And so I need to probably I think I need to put a service fee in again to be, really put that time in. So I don't need to spend time outside of the business earning. And so just give my full time to that. I think they will go into that. I feel that I didn't do that initially, or I had done that in the past. The start of this year when I sort of got back into things, I didn't do it just because I was testing the market again. I was just being a bit, cautious with the suppliers to make sure that it was going to work all right. And I feel that we're on a pretty good, on the same page now. I feel that we, their goals are why my goals are becoming quite lofty again. I was just sort of stay local if I had to, but these guys want to go big. So that really excites me as well. That's where I'm sort of just trying to work out how do I go about that. Before doing anything here.
Look, Steve and I spoke about that as well, based on your email. We're going to I think we're going to start to touch on that in the next module around your business model. What are the products? And I have this feeling, given what we've spoken about and what I've heard in the workshop and what I'm hearing today, that there's almost there's a couple of different income streams from each client depending on where they sit in terms of their sophistication. And there's potentially work that you do for some of the smaller brands, or may do for some of the smaller brands. It might be actually for all of the brands, that you've actually got to do a bit of consulting to get them ready to take them into the markets they want to do. And so, that might be an ongoing fee to consult to them, or it might be a one-off to get them ready and then they're ready to go. Or if you're building displays or fridges, there's a component of what you do that I suspect is beyond, the connection to the retail or hospitality business. There's getting them ready and managing them, and then there's managing the relationship and the orders with the client. And I think there's two, there might be a couple of streams of other income that we can add into that. So we can have a bit of a chat a bit more about that during module 2 when we jump into that workshop in a couple of weeks. I would try and keep it just chunked up. What do I want to earn out of this? And just how we break down that revenue number is going to be a function of the different income streams you could have. And so you might find I actually don't need to triple my my customer base or my brands that I represent, I maybe just need to add some extra product that I'm selling to them to increase the sale value each time I'm working with a brand, and that gets you to a certain income level.
That's sort of getting
remember,
into the business model there, isn't it? Now,
yeah,
Oscar?
yeah. So we'll have a bit of a chat. So have a bit of a think about what are some of the things that you do for your clients that you currently are capturing as part of your, or being remunerated for as part of your commission structure, that you feel like, you know what, that's at an earlier stage and I need to get remunerated for them, or when I'm doing this for them along the journey, that's in addition to this conversation or this account management piece. So yeah, just have a bit of a think about that.
Yeah.
And so
we
that
can
sort
talk
of
about
means,
that.
yeah, that's right. So that sort of means, Oscar, I think that we might have to have another style of spreadsheet that doesn't have the cost of sales model in it, but has just straight fees, less expenses, commissions type thing, and then expenses rather than cost of sales. But
Yeah, well,
we could think about that.
If there's no cost of sales, then it's just 100%. So whatever your gross profit is, your revenue is. 100% of your revenue goes straight to your cost of sales because there's no cost of delivery. Although, yeah, we can have a bit of a chat about that. Yeah, that's all right. But I would chunk up your revenue. We're just wanting to look, rather than revenue per line item or service offering, just go total revenue. This is what I want to earn out of the business, which is, 150 grand, and I don't take a wage, so therefore my net profit has to be 150. These are the overheads that I've got in the business. I add that to it. My gross profit's equal to my revenue because I don't have any cost of sales, and that's what you want to earn to be able to generate your take home earnings.
Yeah.
Yep. But we can have a look at that. Have a play with it, and then feel free to send that through, mate, and we can have Steve or I can have a look at it and then give you a buzz.
Will do, yeah, because I have done it with the service fee before, which did work, but it depends on the client sometimes. And
Yep.
If I had all the clients were the same, it would work great because it does take in a lot and it worked well. But yeah, when it sort of it goes a bit funny sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to make that decision. You need to, and again, we'll do a bit of that. You might categorize clients into A, B, and C, which is one of the modules coming. So there's a bit of work that we'll do around all of this, but get thinking a little bit around what those other, what other categories, or how else can I charge additional? Because you're providing value by doing these other bits and pieces. Glenn, you might have a similar situation where you go, well, I do these things, and I'm doing them for nothing. And some things you'll do for nothing because they're a good little extra, but you just got to be careful that they're not always being delivered, and therefore you're consistently chewing up time, not getting paid for that time, which then impacts on capacity, impacts your ability to grow the business.
Yes.
If there's real value in what you do, so for example, with our one-on-one clients, we do a fact find exercise and a coaching plan, and we charge for that because at that, there is real value in the client getting clear around this is actually what's going on and what I need to do. They invariably 99 times out of 100 go, can you help us implement that, which is part of the engagement. But they could conceivably go, well, we'll take that and do it ourselves. Thank you. And so there's real value in enlightening them and making them aware of the underlying issues. And that's why we charge for the fact find. We haven't actually started coaching, but they're now aware of what's going on and what they need to work on.
So what we're doing is talking to their staff, talking to them and finding out whether what they reckon is possible based on what we're finding in the business. And often the boss has a different perspective than the staff. So you get all perspectives, make some judgments about it and come back and say to them, well, it seems to us that this is what's really going on. So we're going to have to deal with the following issues. if you want to get where you want to go. So it's just part of the getting to know you and getting to know the issues strategy.
Yep.
Cool.
And were there any, did either of you identify any roadblocks towards achieving your goals, your vision in the short term? I think we talked about skills, understanding, capital, capacity.
Capacity is probably the one for me. The next step is to get somebody else or somebody driving my ute full time, and which would allow me to work the phone. Like I'm missing calls from time to time, and I actually just went and saw a lady today. She called 2 weeks ago. I missed the call, didn't pick up the voicemail. She called again today. I was with somebody, couldn't answer the call, but I called her back, and she said, I've already organised somebody else because I called you 2 weeks ago. I couldn't get through, and you couldn't take this call. So that I'm battling that at the moment.
Yeah.
So luckily, I actually dropped straight over there and closed a deal with her. So I'm going to see her next week.
Nice.
Just a no obligation quote that ended up in a job. So
Sweet.
But most of the time it doesn't work out like that. You lose people.
You get one chance.
It's not a joke. You just, you spend money on marketing. You can't answer the phone. So you're pissing people off. And maybe they're telling their friends, don't bother calling Glenn because he doesn't call back.
Yep.
So that's what I'm battling at the moment. And I know I need to take somebody on, but I've never employed somebody before. So
we'll have a chat about that.
I'm worried about fucking that up big time.
Yeah. You most probably won't fuck it up, mate. You might make some missteps, but you won't fuck it up. So
right.
That's all right.
But there's some things to think about, and Oscar, I'm sure will give you a heads up on stuff to contemplate. But have no fear about hiring someone. The main thing is to say, well, chunk up. Do I have the skill? Okay, well, I might need a bit of a hand. All right, who can help me? That's really what it's about.
Yes.
I
think I need to start doing that immediately, because come December, the phone will just ring off the hook.
Yeah. The other thing is is just managing volume versus price, right? And so, sometimes it's, well, maybe I'm better off doing less calls, but at a higher price. We've got a matrix, which again, we'll take you through in module 9. But when you look at price increases and how much your volume needs to drop based on what your margin is, invariably when we tell people to put their price up, they, you're better off having less and making more on it than just being really busy and not making as much money. And I'm not saying that's the answer, but we're going to do stuff around business model and positioning and looking at your pricing structure as well. So that'll be a key piece, which may give you a bit more confidence as well to improve profit margin, improve cash flow, and make taking someone on less of a financial strain. Remember, the first person you hire is the only time one hire is going to double the size of your business.
Yes.
Right? And it's pretty scary for most.
Yeah.
It's a very scary prospect.
The interesting thing I've noticed is that some of the clients that pay the most amount of money end up being the happiest ones and give an awesome Google review.
What's going on with that, mate?
It's, the people that, I guess the people with no money, they're always shitty.
Yeah.
Well, that's I'd be shitty too if I had no money.
Scarcity mentality, right? It's shitty because they've got nothing and they think they want to hoard what they've got.
And the world owes them something.
Yeah. But that's interesting, right? So my question to think about is, where are those clients coming from? What do they look like typically? Is there a way that you can create, they call it an avatar, I don't like the word, but can you create a picture or a a version or an identity of that in terms of, location, where they came from, that sort of thing. When you can narrow in on that, then that might help you find more of those and stay away from the ones that are causing you the grief.
Yeah, I already have. So, or like I've got data on every sale that I've ever made and who they are, their marital status, where they live, how many kids. So I know on average, it'll be the wife of a couple that contacts me and they'll have 1.1 children living within a couple of Ks of Mount Lawley or Nedlands and Dalkeith.
Yep. All right, that's good to know. Because that's what we're going to do in the next session, right? So we're going to do some work around your business model, that story of what are you selling specifically, what are your products? What is the list of products that you sell? What's all the services that you offer? Who are your clients that you want to sell to? Like, let's get narrow. I mean, Glenn, you've heard the specific is terrific. Let's get clear around who we sell to. We don't just sell to anyone. And what experience would you like them to have, or what experience are people telling you they're having that is positive or negative, and how do we avoid the negative and give more of the positive? And then how do you currently price your product, right? Do you package? Do you hourly rate? Is it box in, box out? What, commission structure? And let's look at how you're doing that, and are there other ways that perhaps we've not considered? And we're going to be doing that next one. So have a bit of a think about that. You'll get a email like you did last time, about a week out from the workshop. So the workshop's on the 22nd, I think, or 21st, the Tuesday, October. And so most probably on the Wednesday before, around about the 15th, you'll get a link to the YouTube video and watch that and get ready for module 2.
Beautiful.
Did you have anyone else have any other questions?
It is the 22nd, the second one.
Just have a look, see.
Wednesday?
It is Wednesday the 22nd. I've sent that through?
Yep. No, that's cool. That's all.
Yep. Sweet. Wednesday the 22nd. So around about Wednesday the 15th, you'll see that come out.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
All right, guys.
Sounds good.
Perfect. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Next.
Is there one more slide with the just a reminder on the?
Oh yeah, there is, mate. Yep. Next module. Here we go. Business model. There it is. Tuesday 22nd. I didn't have to go looking. I put it in there. 1 till 5.
I think so.
Sorry, it's actually Wednesday the 22nd.
Okay, cool.
Not Tuesday. I seem to have trouble with my dates and days. It's actually Wednesday the 22nd, 1 till 5 at Kalis Brothers. I did send through a calendar invite. Let me know if you got it. Yep. And the gate code's still 7070. Did you guys find the gate out the back of Kalis okay?
I was already down when I got there.
Yep. Okay. Generally, it's down in the afternoon, but I think they put it up more at night time. But if it is down, that's your gate code. And I'll put that in the email reminder on the day anyway. So keep an eye out for that. Excellent.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Perfect.
See you, everyone. Have a good day.
See you later, Mike.
See ya.
Yeah.
And
See ya.
Mike, I'll speak to you about PJ as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Oscar.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you.
Bye. Thoughts?
Pretty good. I think that went well. You can probably turn the recording off now, unless if you want to. Yeah. I think that went very well. I think we got just a little tied up with Michael on his various products and so forth, but I think he probably had to.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's opportunity.